A spokesperson for the plant has just told Ukrainian television, quoting now, shells were falling directly on this plant and had set fire to one of the facility's 6 nuclear reactors. The manager of the plant and a spokesperson for the plant in Ukraine told Ukrainian television that shells were falling directly on the power plant and had set fire to one of the facility's 6 nuclear reactors. That reactor is under renovation and not operating, but there is nuclear fuel inside it. That's the latest that I have. Posting again, the CEO of the company that operates the power plant said that they are designated to withstand an aircraft crash. So the idea is this in containment area, this reactor could withstand the crash of an airplane, designed to withstand that. However, munitions are often designed to penetrate thick layers of protective concrete. One particularly serious risk is that a direct attack might drain the pools in which the spent fuel is stored, often in large amounts. Let's go back to Matt Koenig now, who's a nuclear expert at the Atlantic Council, who's been able to gather a little more information. Matt, from what we're hearing, it was the #1 reactor where the fire was emanating, from which the fire was emanating. It had been hit by shells from the Russians, and though that reactor was shut down, it does contain nuclear fuel. Your thoughts?
Yes, that's exactly right. And I think there are really 3 possible worries here. One, at Chernobyl, what happened was a nuclear reactor is designed to conduct a sustained, controlled nuclear reaction. A nuclear weapon has an uncontrolled nuclear reaction that releases a lot of power at once. So what happened at Chernobyl is the system failed, and instead of having a steady, sustained chain reaction, you had this uncontrolled reaction that led to this release of an enormous amount of energy, essentially an explosion. It doesn't seem like that's what's happened here, and it doesn't seem like that's likely, so that's good news. But there are 2 other potential dangers. One is the nuclear material in the facility. If it was attacked by the Russians, could have, if there's an explosion at the plant, could have spread that material already. So people nearby could have been exposed to that. It could seep into the ground and into groundwater. And then the third big threat, and this is what you and Dr. Acton were just talking about, is that you do have all of this radioactive material there in the spent fuel rods, possibly in cooling ponds. And so if the normal systems in place to keep those nuclear fuel rods cool fail, then those will become very hot, and those fuel rods will literally melt down. That's where the saying nuclear meltdown comes from. The rods would literally melt, and then that radioactive material would get into the earth, into groundwater. As you can see on a map, these reactors are right on a river, so that radioactive material could get into the river and go downstream, and so it could become a serious ecological disaster. And that's really what we saw at the Fukushima plant 10 years ago.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.